A 4-year-old little girl dressed in a princess costume looked her father straight in the eyes and said 7 words that would change her entire life forever. She said, "I am going to marry Timmy Nixon." Her father laughed. The camera kept rolling and life moved on. But 20 years later, that little girl stood at the altar in a white wedding dress, facing the exact man she had named as a toddler. No one planned this. No one arranged this. And she didn't even remember saying it. So how on earth did this happen? Stay with me. The year was 1992. Somewhere in America, a bright-eyed, imaginative little girl named Kira-Jade was doing what 4-year-olds do best: playing dress up, dreaming big, and talking to her dad. But on this particular day, something extraordinary happened. Her father had a camera rolling, one of those old home video cameras that families used to capture birthday parties and holiday mornings. And in the middle of what seemed like a perfectly ordinary afternoon, little Kira-Jade, dressed like a princess, made a statement that would stop time. She told her father, with complete confidence and the innocence that only a child can carry, that she was going to marry a boy named Timmy Nixon. Her father smiled. He probably laughed a little. After all, she was 4 years old, just a child lost in her imagination, speaking the way children do, boldly, freely, without doubt or hesitation. But here's the thing, he kept that video, and decades later, that video would change everything. Let's go back to that moment. Really sit inside it for a second. Kira-Jade wasn't whispering. She wasn't unsure. She said his name clearly, Timmy Nixon. The way a child says something they simply know to be true, like the sky is blue or ice cream is cold. Her father's reaction was priceless. He was amused, a little surprised, maybe slightly bewildered. Where did she even hear that name? Did she know a Timmy? Was this just childhood imagination running wild? These were questions with no clear answers. And perhaps that was the point. Some things don't need explaining. They just need to be witnessed. He didn't take it too seriously at the time. How could he? She was 4, but something made him hold on to that tape. Maybe it was instinct. Maybe it was a father's love, wanting to preserve every little moment of his daughter's childhood. Whatever the reason, that cassette tape was carefully kept, stored away, tucked into the quiet corners of family memory. Over the years, relatives would occasionally remember it. Someone would bring it up at a family gathering, chuckling softly. "Remember when little Kira-Jade said she was going to marry that boy?" They laughed. They moved on, but life and God had not forgotten. As the years rolled by, Kira-Jade grew from that princess dress 4-year-old into a young woman, living her life, going to school, navigating the beautiful chaos of growing up. And Timmy Nixon, he was out there too, living his own story, walking his own path, completely unaware that a little girl had once spoken his name into a camera and declared him her future husband. At some point, their worlds briefly overlapped. They knew of each other, perhaps through school, through mutual friends, through the small and connected way that communities sometimes work. But it never became anything more than that. Life pulled them in different directions, the way it often does in those busy, rushing years of high school and early adulthood. 2 ships passing quietly in the night, neither one aware of the invisible thread connecting them, and then they lost touch completely. Here's the part that makes this story even more remarkable. Kira-Jade had absolutely no memory of making that prediction. None. The home video, the moment, the name she had spoken with such certainty. It had all faded from her mind, the way childhood dreams sometimes do. She wasn't searching for Timmy Nixon. She wasn't holding on to some romantic notion of a destined love. She was simply living, working, growing, moving forward. But here's where it gets interesting, because while Kira-Jade had forgotten, something else, something much bigger, had not. And it was quietly, patiently working behind the scenes to bring 2 people exactly where they were always meant to be. For one ordinary morning, Kira-Jade walked into church. No dramatic music, no sign from the sky, just a regular Sunday, the kind where you find your seat, settle in, and prepare your heart for the service ahead. And then she saw him, Timmy Nixon. Now understand, this wasn't a planned reunion. There was no matchmaker, no mutual friend who arranged it, no dating app that connected their profiles. It was simply 2 people in the same place at the same time, brought together by something neither of them could quite explain. Their eyes met, something stirred, that quiet, unexplainable feeling, the kind you can't manufacture, can't force, and can't ignore. They began to talk, and as they talked, something remarkable unfolded. A connection so natural, so effortless, that it felt less like meeting someone new and more like remembering someone you had always known. Cupid, it seemed, had been waiting patiently in that church pew for a very long time. Their love story blossomed slowly and beautifully. Conversations turned into walks. Walks turned into dates. And through every moment, there was this quiet, undeniable sense for both of them that this was right, that this was real, that this was meant. Neither of them knew yet about the video. Neither of them knew that this reunion had actually been predicted out loud on camera over 20 years ago. But they were about to find out, and you won't believe what happened next. As Kira-Jade and Timmy's relationship grew deeper, someone in the family remembered the tape. Maybe it was her mother, quietly watching the relationship unfold with wide, knowing eyes. Maybe it was an aunt or an uncle, one of those family members who remembers everything, who keeps the stories alive long after everyone else has moved on. Whoever it was, they remembered, and they knew the time had finally come. They pulled it out. That old home video, carefully preserved through the years, through moves and seasons and the long, quiet passing of decades. And they sat Kira-Jade down to watch it. Imagine being in that room. Imagine the screen flickering to life. Imagine watching footage from another era. The soft, slightly grainy quality of old home video. The colors a little warmer, the world a little quieter. And then imagine seeing yourself appear on that screen, not as you are now, but as you were. Tiny, innocent, 4 years old, wearing a princess dress, standing in the living room of your childhood home, looking directly into a camera with complete and total confidence. And then imagine hearing your own voice, small and sweet and absolutely certain. Say the name of the man you are currently falling in love with. Kira-Jade was stunned, the kind of stunned that goes beyond surprise, beyond shock, the kind that reaches all the way down into something deep and wordless inside you. Her hands likely trembled, her breath probably caught, her eyes almost certainly filled with tears, because there she was, in 1992, in a princess dress, speaking a truth she didn't even know she knew. I'm going to marry Timmy Nixon. And when Timmy watched the video, the room went completely silent. Not the uncomfortable silence of people who don't know what to say, but the sacred silence of people who are standing in the presence of something they cannot fully explain. Something that feels bigger than logic, bigger than coincidence, bigger than anything their rational minds have room for. This wasn't a fairy tale someone had written to feel better about the world. This wasn't a coincidence someone had stretched and polished into a prettier story. This was real, documented, preserved on tape, undeniable in every possible way. A moment from the past, reaching forward across 20 years to whisper, "I told you so. I told you all along." Both families were moved deeply. Some cried, some laughed. The breathless, overwhelmed kind of laughter that comes when emotion has nowhere else to go. Some simply sat in quiet, reverent awe, looking at each other with expressions that needed no words. Because in that moment, everyone in that room understood the same extraordinary thing. This was never just chance. This was never random. This had always been the plan. Kira-Jade and Timmy Nixon got married. The little girl who had spoken his name into a camera in 1992 walked down the aisle toward him, and the prediction, made in innocence and love, became a lifetime commitment made in faith and joy. Their wedding was not just a celebration of two people, it was a celebration of something far greater. The quiet, unshakable belief that some things in this life are simply written. That love, real love, has a way of finding its people no matter how much time passes, no matter how far apart the roads may lead. Whether you call it fate, destiny, or the beautiful hand of God, this story is proof that some connections cannot be broken by time, by distance, or by forgetfulness, because what is meant for you will always find you. So let me ask you something before you go. Do you believe in fate? Do you believe that some things in this life are simply meant to be, or that love can be written long before we ever understand it? Kira-Jade and Timmy Nixon's story tells me yes, absolutely yes. If this story touched your heart, please give it a thumbs up. It truly helps this channel grow. Drop a comment below and tell me, do you believe in destiny? Subscribe so you never miss a story like this one.